In 2178, Earth was a scarred relic, its cities reduced to jagged silhouettes against a sky choked with ash. Humanity survived in fortified havens, their spirits battered by decades of resource wars and environmental collapse. Amid the ruins of Solace, a neon-lit stronghold of scavengers and dreamers, a pulse of defiance flickered, a pulse that would soon roar against an unimaginable enemy. Talia Creed was a shadow in Solace's underbelly. At 32, she was a runner, navigating the city's labyrinthine tunnels to deliver contraband tech. Her lean frame, cropped black hair, and storm-gray eyes hid a heart forged in loss. Her parents vanished in a raid, her older brother lost to the wastelands. Her only tether was her 15-year-old cousin, Rin, a wiry genius who could rewire a drone blindfolded. Their home was a cluttered nook in a derelict factory, its walls scrawled with Rin's equations and Talia's maps of forgotten routes. Hope was a faint echo until the abyss gates opened. They weren't portals or machines, but wounds in reality, spilling a darkness that devoured light and will. From them emerged the abyss shadows, entities of fluid void, their forms twisting like ink in water, their presence a suffocating weight that drained emotion. They didn't kill, they hollowed. Entire havens turned to dust, their people reduced to empty husks. The survivors named it the hollowing, and it was relentless. Talia and Rin were on a run when the first gate tore open Solace's sky. The air turned heavy, the neon lights dimming as a shadow loomed, its form a coiling mass of void that hummed with despair. Screams echoed as buildings crumbled into gray ash. Talia grabbed Rin's arm, her pulse racing. "Move now," she shouted, pulling him toward a sewer grate. They dove into the tunnels, the shadows hum, shaking the walls. Rin clutched his battered holopad, his fingers scanning frantically. "Talia, this isn't random," he whispered, eyes wide. "The gates are linked, a network. They're after something buried in the old Nexus vault, 70 miles west." Talia's instincts screamed to hide, but Rin's certainty burned through her doubt. "You sure?" she asked, dodging a collapsing pipe. "I'm sure," Rin said, his voice steady despite the fear. "If I can hack the vault's core, I can trace their network. Maybe find a way to fight back." The vault was a death trap, buried in a wasteland of raiders and shadow patrols. But Talia saw the fire in Rin's eyes. She nodded. "We go. Together." Their journey was brutal. They crossed shattered highways, evading shadow drones that moved like predators. Talia's runner skills kept them alive, her knowledge of hidden paths outwitting ambushes. They gained allies, Vex, a former soldier with a cybernetic leg and a grudge, Mira, a soft-spoken engineer who'd lost her son to the hollowing, and Kale, a sharpshooter with a quick smile and a haunted gaze. Bound by loss, they became a crew of defiant misfits, their hearts pulsing with a shared refusal to break. The Nexus Vault was a fortress of rusted steel and flickering holograms, half sunk in sand. Inside, the air was cold, the walls pulsing with alien energy. Rin knelt by glowing core, his holopad linked to strange, shifting code. "This is their network hub," he said, voice tight. "They're pulling something through the gates, a power source, maybe." It centered in the Pacific. A shadow materialized, its form splitting into tendrils that lashed out. Vex fired his pulse rifle, Mira hurled an EMP grenade, and Kale's shots burned bright, but the shadow absorbed it all. Talia grabbed a sparking conduit, her hand shaking. "Rin, work fast," she yelled, jamming the conduit into the core. The surge scattered the shadow, but it reformed, its hum a deafening wail. "I'm in," Rin shouted, his holopad projecting a map of Earth with gate locations converging on a massive anomaly in the Pacific, an abyss core. "That's their heart. If we hit it, we stop the hollowing." The shadow lunged, and Talia tackled Rin out of the way, its touch grazing her arm. Pain seared through her, stealing fragments of her brother's laugh, her parents' faces. She screamed, clinging to Rin's image in her mind. Vex and Kale dragged her back, Myra's grenade buying seconds. Rin hit a command, frying the core. The shadow dissolved, the vault shaking as the console died. They stumbled into the daylight, Talia's arm burning, Rin's map their only hope. You okay? Rin asked, his voice breaking. Talia forced a smile, her heart aching. Still here, kid. The Pacific was their target, a chance to roar against the abyss. They weren't just survivors anymore. They were the defiant. The Pacific was a graveyard of sunken cities and rusted wrecks, its waves glittering under a sky scarred by the abyss core's violet-black glow. Talia's crew crossed the ocean on a patched-together skiff, its engines groaning under Vex repairs. The core's hum was a constant pressure, draining their hope with every mile. Talia's arms still burned from the shadow's touch, her memories fraying. But Rin's resolve kept her anchored. Their crew was a family now forged in fire. Vex's gruff loyalty masked his pain, Myra's quiet strength held them steady, and Kale's humor hid a grief that matched Talia's. Rin, the youngest, was their pulse. His belief in a future beyond the hollowing drove them forward. Talia felt the weight of their trust, her fear of losing Rin a knife in her chest. They reached the abyss core at dawn, a massive gate pulsing above a sunken platform of alien stone. Rin's holopad revealed the structure below, a shadow citadel, its walls alive with void energy. This is their anchor, Rin said, his voice steady but pale. If I can overload its core, the gates might collapse. Talia gripped his shoulder. And if it fights back? Rin met her gaze, his eyes fierce. We fight harder. The citadel was a nightmare of liquid black corridors, the air thick with despair. Mira hacked the entrance, her tools sparking against alien locks. Inside, shadows glided like ghosts, their touch stealing breath and will. The crew moved as one, their weapons EMP grenades, plasma cutters, Vex rifle, barely slowing the enemy. Talia's knife glowed with scavenged energy, her every swing a defiance of her fading memories. The citadel's heart was a chamber dominated by a swirling void orb, its hum shaking their bones. Rin plugged in, his holopad sparking as he fought the alien code. It's resisting, he gasped. Shadows converged, their forms merging into a towering mass. Vex roared, his rifle blazing. Kale's shots lit the dark, and Myra's grenades scattered the enemy, but they kept coming. Talia stood by Rin, her knife slashing tendrils. A shadow struck, its touch burning away her memory of her brother's voice. She screamed, tears falling as she shielded Rin. Keep going, she yelled, her voice raw. Vex took a hit, his cybernetic legs sparking as he fell. Mira dragged him back, her face streaked with soot and tears. I'm close, Rin shouted, the orb pulsing wildly. The chamber shook, cracks forming in the walls. A shadow lunged for him, and Talia threw herself in its path, pain searing her chest. Her memories of home faded, but Rin's face remained. Kale pulled her back, his voice breaking. Stay with us, Talia. Rin hit the command, and the orb screamed, its energy spiraling. Shadows dissolved, their wails echoing as the abyss core collapsed above. The crew fled, the citadel crumbling into the sea. They reached the skiff as the ocean roared, a wave of energy swallowing the ruins. Talia collapsed, her chest burning, Rin's arms around her. You're still here, he sobbed, his face buried in her shoulder. Always, she whispered, her voice weak but fierce. The gates were faltering, but Rin's holopad pinged, a new signal, far beyond Earth, in the void of space. The crew shared a look, their faces etched with loss and resolve. The war wasn't over, but their pulse was stronger than ever. The Pacific's waves churned beneath the skiff, its patchwork hull groaning as it cut through salt and ash. The abyss core's collapse had dimmed the sky's violet-black scar, but a heavy stillness lingered, as if the universe held its breath. Talia Creed gripped the rusted railing, her storm-gray eyes scanning the horizon. At 32, her lean frame and cropped black hair bore the weight of Solace's ruins, where she'd run contraband through tunnels to survive. The shadow's touch still burned in her arm and chest, each throb stealing memories. Her brother's laugh, her parents' faces, now faint echoes. Yet Rin, her 15-year-old cousin, kept her grounded. Hunched over his battered holopad, his wiry frame vibrated with focus, his equations scrawled in the air like defiance in code. The signal Rin had detected, a rhythmic pulse from beyond Earth, glowed on his holopad's cracked screen. "It's not noise," he said, voice tight. "It's coming from the asteroid belt near Ceres. The Shadow's network isn't dead, it's rerouting. Something's out there, something big." His eyes, bright with fear and resolve, met Talia's. Talia's instinct screamed to run, to hide in Solace's underbelly, but Rin's certainty burned through her doubt. She glanced at the crew, their faces etched with loss and grit. Vex, his cybernetic legs sparking, cleaned his pulse rifle, his gruff exterior masking a soldier's pain. Mira, her hand steady despite the grief for her lost son, patched the skiff's engine, her quiet strength a pillar. Kale, the sharpshooter, leaned against a crate, his quick smile hiding a haunted gaze. They were a family forged in fire, bound by a refusal to break. Talia nodded. "We follow it." The journey to orbit was a gamble. Solace's scavengers had a derelict shuttle, a relic from the resource wars, its hull patched with scrap. Mira and Rin worked feverishly, rewiring its systems, while Vex and Kale scavenged fuel from a wrecked outpost. Talia mapped their path, her runner's knowledge of hidden routes translating to star charts. The shuttle rattled into the void, Earth shrinking to a scarred marble below. The signal grew stronger, a cold hum that pressed against their skulls. The asteroid belt was a maze of spinning rock and ancient debris, Ceres a dull glow in the distance. The signal led to a massive structure, a shadow spire, its obsidian surface pulsing with void energy, orbiting a jagged asteroid. It wasn't a ship, but a wound in space, its edges blurring reality. Shadows glided across its surface, their fluid forms coiling like ink in water, their presence draining hope. Talia's chest tightened, her stolen memories fraying further. "We're not alone," Kale whispered, his scope tracking a swarm of shadow drones. Vex cursed, priming his rifle. Myra's hands shook as she scanned the spire's energy signature. "It's a nexus," she said. "Like the vault, but bigger. It's powering the gates across the system." Rin's holopad flickered, projecting a map of the spire's core, a swirling orb of void energy, linked to every gate on Earth. "If we overloaded, we could shut them all down," he said, voice steady despite his pale face. "But it's guarded." Heavily. Talia gripped his shoulder. "We've faced worse. Together." Her voice hid the fear clawing her chest, the fear of losing Rin, of becoming a husk. The crew shared a look, their pulse of defiance stronger than the void's hum. They docked on the asteroid's edge, the shuttle's clamps grinding against rock. The spire's interior was a labyrinth of liquid black corridors, the air thick with despair. Shadows moved like ghosts, their touch stealing breath and will. Talia's knife, scavenged with glowing energy, slashed through tendrils, each swing a scream against her fading past. Vex's rifle blazed, Myra's EMP grenade sparked, and Kale's shots lit the dark. But the shadows kept coming, their forms reforming with every blow. The core chamber was a cavern of alien stone, the void orb pulsing like a heart. Its hum shook their bones, whispering loss. Rin plugged his holopad into a glowing console, his fingers dancing across alien code. "It's fighting me," he gasped, sweat beading on his brow. Shadows converged, merging into a towering mass, its tendrils lashing out. Vex roared, his cybernetic leg buckling as he fired. Mira hurled a grenade, scattering the mass, but it reformed, its wail deafening. Talia stood by Rin, her knife slashing tendrils. A shadow struck, its touch burning away her memory of her childhood home. She screamed, tears falling as she shielded Rin. "Keep going," she yelled, voice raw. Vex took a hit, his rifle clattering as he fell. Mira dragged him back, her face streaked with soot and tears. Kale's shots burned bright, his voice breaking. "Stay with us, Talia." "I'm close," Rin shouted, the orb pulsing wildly. The chamber shook, cracks spiderwebbing the walls. A shadow lunged for him, and Talia threw herself in its path, pain searing her chest. Her memories of Solace's neon lights faded, but Rin's face remained. Kale pulled her back, his grip fierce. "You're not done yet." Rin hit a command, and the orb screamed, its energy spiraling. Shadows dissolved, their wails echoing as the spire trembled. The crew fled, dragging Vex through collapsing corridors. They reached the shuttle as the asteroid cracked, the spire imploding in a wave of void energy. The shuttle lurched into space, debris pelting its hull. Talia collapsed, her chest burning, Rin's arms around her. "You're still here," he sobbed, his face buried in her shoulder. "Always," she whispered, her voice weak but fierce. The gates on Earth flickered out, their hum silenced, but Rin's holopad pinged, a new signal deeper in the void, beyond the Kuiper Belt. The crew gathered, their faces etched with loss and resolve. Vex, bandaged but unbowed, grunted, "We're not done." Myra's eyes burned with quiet fire. Kale's smile returned, sharper now. Rin clutched his holopad, his voice steady. "It's a beacon. They're calling something bigger." Talia's hand found Rin's, her heart aching but unbroken. The void was vast, but their pulse was stronger. They were the Defiant, and they would roar against the abyss. The shuttle's engines hummed as they plotted a course for the Kuiper Belt, the signal's cold rhythm guiding them. The void was a sea of stars and shadow, its silence a challenge. Talia's memories were tattered, but her crew's faces, Rin's fierce hope, Vex's stubborn grit, Myra's quiet strength, Kale's haunted light, kept her fighting. The shadows weren't just enemies, they were a test, and the Defiant would not break. The Kuiper Belt was a frozen graveyard of ice and rock, the signal leading to a massive structure, a shadow citadel, larger than the spire, its surface a writhing mass of void. It pulsed with a rhythm that matched the signal, its energy bending light and time. Shadows swarmed its edges, their forms vast and fluid, their hum a chorus of despair. The shuttle's sensors flickered, overwhelmed. "It's their origin point," Rin said, his holopad projecting a web of energy linking the citadel to every gate in the system. "This is where they're born. If we destroy it, we end them." Talia's chest tightened. "And if we don't?" Rin met her gaze, his eyes fierce. "We will." The citadel's interior was a nightmare of shifting geometry, its walls alive with void energy. Shadows attacked in waves, their touch stealing fragments of will. Talia's knife glowed, her swings fueled by rage and love. Vex's rifle roared, Myra's grenade sparked, and Kale's shots pierced the dark. But the shadows were endless, their forms merging into a colossal entity, a shadow titan, its eyes voids within voids. The citadel's core was a chamber of infinite black, a massive orb pulsing with the universe's weight. Rin plugged in, his holopad sparking as he fought the alien code. "It's rewriting itself," he gasped. The titan loomed, its tendrils lashing out. Vex charged, his cybernetic leg grinding, taking a blow that sent him sprawling. Myra's scream echoed as she hurled a grenade, buying seconds. Kale fired, his face pale but unyielding. Talia shielded Rin, her knife slashing the titan's tendrils. Its touch burned away her memory of her first run through Solace's tunnels, but she clung to Rin's voice. "Finish it," she roared. Rin's fingers flew, the orb's pulse faltering. The titan struck, and Talia took the hit, her vision blurring as her past dissolved. She fell, Rin's cry piercing the dark. "I've got it," Rin shouted, slamming a command. The orb screamed, its energy imploding. The titan dissolved, the citadel shaking apart. The crew dragged Talia and Vex through collapsing corridors, reaching the shuttle as the structure crumbled into the void. The explosion lit the stars, a wave of energy silencing the signal. Talia woke in the shuttle, Rin's hand in hers, her memories nearly gone, but her heart intact. "We did it," he whispered, tears falling. Vex groaned alive. Myra's hands trembled, her eyes bright. Kale's smile was weary, but real. The gates were gone, the shadows silenced. Earth's skies cleared, a faint hope rising. But the void whispered. A faint signal, beyond the stars, pulsed once. The crew shared a look, their defiance unbroken. They were scarred, battered, but alive. Talia squeezed Rin's hand. "We're not done," she said, her voice a roar against the abyss. The Defiant would fight on, their pulse eternal.